When I say the word memories, what comes to your mind? Is it the bright lights of a Friday night football game, or the rough leather on your steering wheel of the first car you ever owned? Or maybe even the sound of people chit-chatting at the job you had in college? For me, it's food, but not just any food. Wrapped in hojas, folded in tortillas, and packed in bread are the memories of my family. One of those important memories is my grandfather making carnitas in the middle of the street. Because when I eat those carnitas, I think of a small town in Mexico, tucked in between two rivers. I think of a small house, painted lime green, with cracks showing in the walls. But most importantly, I think of my family. He taught my dad how to make carnitas, and then my dad showed me how to make them. And today, I want to show all of you how we make them.
All right, let's get started. Wait, I'm missing something. Now I'm ready to cook. So always need to have an apron on because this does get a little messy. First thing we're gonna do is actually over here at the caso. We need to turn it on and put some manteca in it. Now that we have the caso on and it's warming up a little bit, we can start adding the manteca. And if you notice, we have this little metal thing here. This is so that the meat can't touch the very bottom, because if the meat touches the bottom, a lot of times it burns. So this creates a little bit of a buffer so that the meat doesn't touch. That's nice. It comes out like that in one solid piece. It makes it a lot easier, because if not, you're like scraping this thing trying to get all of it out. All right, so the manteca's already in there. It's been warming up for a little bit. There's a couple pieces that are still dissolving, but while that's finishing up, we're gonna get started on the meat here. I have some ribs and big old pork shoulder. The problem I feel with the cuts that you get from the carniceria sometimes is they make them too small. Then you're gonna get like a bunch of just pedazos, you know? Also, a bunch of dogs now. They're out here hanging out with me. And then my dad likes ribs, or like costilla in Spanish, right? Costilla, which is ribs. Plus it does give it a little bit of flavor. So the first thing we're gonna do is open up this pork shoulder, start cutting it into chunks about yay big, and then putting it in there slowly, bit by bit. All right, so let's open this pork shoulder up. I am going to keep this as clean as possible. That's why we're using a plastic table outside, so we can wash it off afterwards, you know? Once I get this on the cutting board, it'll be easier, but for now, it's gonna work with me, all right, guys? Also, don't try the stuff at home unless you have a trained professional with a knife. I'm not a trained professional with a knife. So the pieces normally, I have smallerish hands, but normally about the size of your hand, like that fits pretty comfortably. It will shrink a little bit, it will crisp up, so you wanna make sure that it's decent sized. All right, now the manteca's hot, we can start putting these pieces in there. I'm just gonna keep hacking away at this. I'm also gonna start a timer with my phone so I know when it is that I put them in there.
What is a memory? Is it a sound, a smell, maybe even a taste? Memento mori, or in memoriam? I was never a Shakespearean scholar in school, but I think the tangibleness of a memory is something that has always been forefront in my mind. Our culture teaches us to never forget those who came before us, because in honoring their memory, we can hope to live a better, more fruitful life. You can never forget the people who live enshrined in a memory, but not just any memory. Something so real that you can smell it, you could taste it, and sometimes even hear it.
Okay, so the meat has been cooking for a little bit over an hour now. I've been slowly moving it around, kind of pulling some pieces to the top and letting other ones sit at the bottom. It is a little bit of a crowded caso, so you want to manage the meat well. And I know the caso is full, but we have a little special request from Jess that she really likes. So I went and bought some buches, which is hog maw, pig stomach, basically. I grabbed just a few. I'm gonna cut them up into a little bit of a smaller piece. That way we can set them right on top. They kind of just float along the top. You don't want them to get too crispy. These cook a lot faster. That's why I let that cook for about an hour. And now once I get these kind of cut up into some pieces, I'm gonna set them in there. And then after these go for about 45 minutes, we'll add some spices, some flavor. We'll pull these out, we'll let those crisp up, and we'll be done. If we think of it in the traditional sense of a meal, this is your hors d'oeuvres, this is your appetizer, this is your finger food before your main course. You take this, let it crisp up, put a little bit of lime, some salt, maybe a little bit of chili on top. You eat it with your fingers, maybe make a taco out of it, but again, a little bit of finger food. All right, so it's been about 2 hours. The butchers have been in for about an hour. Here I have a bag of ground up spices. This is proprietary to the family. I'll give you guys here the ingredients in it, but not the amount, so go crazy with figuring out that. We have orange juice. We have lime juice. We have blended chile de árbol and ajo, which is mixed with the lime juice. I was just showing you guys in here. We won't use this one. This is for something else. But it's all blended in here together. We have some milk. We have Coke. I don't know why we put milk. My dad said he doesn't know either, but we put milk in it. And then Coke to caramelize it. So let's add the stuff in here. All right, so now we're gonna add the milk and the Coke to finish this off. All right, now we just let it go for about 30 more minutes and get a nice caramel, and then we're good.
We have a saying in Spanish, en donde comen dos, comen tres. Where 2 people eat, 3 people can eat.
Put it right here, and I'll start cutting it. Okay.
Breaking bread with a family member or a friend can bring about some of the best memories.
All right, I am sweaty and I'm tired, and we're gonna eat. So thank you guys for coming with us today.
Today, I feel like I took a very important step towards creating those memories. Making these carnitas on my own for the first time, inviting my family and Jess's family to sit down and share this food together. Thank you guys for watching.